Go ahead and record. Um, so what else can you tell us about like what you felt, what you've experienced from it? Is it just pure calm, or are there sensations or colors or what?
It's just pure calm and not much color.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I was feeling more and experiencing more before. And once I started doing that, everything kind of like, you know, toned down.
Mm-hmm. And
So
and is that awesome and exciting for you, or do you miss the strange, trippy stuff?
I'm trying not to worry that I'm shutting down somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Because of things were so, it seemed to be going so well. Now all of a sudden it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Got
nothing.
you. Got you. Awesome. Well, thank you for that feedback, and this is why feedback is always so important. Intelligent infinity is a very high level of consciousness to access, and there's no rule or requirement for you to go there. It's a very advanced state of being, and the purpose is for you to understand that you have the ability to connect and draw truth and power from there, but it's not that you have to go there every time. And if you focus on going to the level of your guides or to your higher self, you'll still make those same kind of connections. You won't get like burned out on truth and there's nothing else but just, but just that, that
Yeah.
emptiness, that peace. But that's a very high level of it, and it's a very good sign that you're tapping into that. That's awesome. Thank you. Um, Heather, can you tell us anything about your practice this week? What you've seen, felt, experienced?
I have seen some more visuals. Um, yeah, not as much of the verbal channeling, but more visuals this week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, never know what to say.
Well, that's what we're learning to do.
Eh,
So, there's more information than that. So just dig down and share something with us.
um,
What about the fruit?
yeah, and in one of the visual journeys, I guess you could call it, I did um I experienced tasting the fruit, and yeah, I mean, it was very like it dripped down my chin even like it. I could, yeah. Well, I don't know if I could, maybe read that one. I don't know, but
Do you have it somewhere you could grab it?
yeah.
Okay, grab it and we'll do Zori and then we'll come back to you. I'd love for you
Okay.
to read it. And anybody that has anything you've written to read, please take time. I want to start making space for y'all to read what you're writing, because that's going to be necessary for you to actually know that the importance of writing is to start to see the value of it, to see how it can give you a way to share things with other people, and those things can affect other people. Zori, tell us anything you can about your practice this week, what you've seen, what you felt.
Um, I got a big day. I had a lot. I had a wonderful week, like a big week where just things were just coming to me. I was in quite a flow this week, and one of the things that really stuck out to me, because there was a whole bunch of them, but one of the things that stuck out to me is how I guess I just got a further understanding of what's actually happening here, because I was like, I need to go to the condo, and I'm realizing that that's like my space. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like I'm getting away, but that's my space. It's like a condo that I'm building, and I interact with it as if like it's virtual reality. Like, it's hard to explain, but I interact with it the same way I interact with everything else that I do, because I'm really starting to realize within this group that I have the will to manifest whatever I want, but I have to do it in my head first. That's really where things are limitless. That's really where things um there's no limit, there's no impossible, nothing is impossible if you can think it. Like literally, if you can think it and then see it and feel it while you're seeing it, like it's to the point where I water plants in my condo. You know what I'm saying? And
Great.
like I'm nurturing, you know what I mean? I'm nurturing that space. But what I realized is that I'm truly structuring my counsel. I'm structuring my counsel because when I first met Satek, maybe 2 months ago, he was like, yeah, me and my counselor talked about it. And I was like, damn, this dude got a group. Like I was thinking of like, there's a group of people that he was talking to. And it clicked to me like the other day, like he was talking about his spirit guides when he said that to me. And then I realized like, damn, like that's what I'm doing when I go into my space. After I communicate with my condo, I go off into the same room and I ask my spirits to come to me. But I'm communicating with them more like, how can I pass this test? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you touch me and give me enough energy? Like stuff like that, like very intimate with them. And just beginning to really understand, like I'm building my own counsel. And I know the counsel has always been there, but my recognition and acknowledgement of it just clicked this week. Like, yo, that's what I'm really doing. Like I'm really building my counsel. Like that's who I communicate with. That's who's been communicating with me. That's who's been giving me this intuition. That's who's been giving me this energy. You know what I mean? But now it's more of like, yo, I see y'all, come around the corner. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to hide anymore.
Yep.
See you. I know you guys are there. Come on. I'm not afraid anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's all sit down. Let's all come together and let's bring this. Let's get this vehicle to where it's supposed to go. And a big week on downloads, man. I'm gonna give y'all another one. So I had this one I think might hit y'all a little more. I was driving the other day and this notion came to me, love thy enemy. And I was like, damn, how can I love my enemy? You know, if Christ says unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, and they say the enemy is Satan. So I started realizing, damn, I have to love that part of me that's Satan, that dark side of me. I have to love Satan. I have to love God. I have to love Satan because that's my enemy. So if I can learn to love that and respect that entity instead of avoiding that entity, instead of pretending like it doesn't exist, like, no, there's a dark side to me. There's a side that's not like this. There's a side that's not kind. There's this up and down, you know what I mean? So just acknowledging that there is darkness, but loving that darkness, loving the light as well, and respecting it and honoring all parts of myself. Love thy enemy, because there's a part of me that made decisions that were very self-destructive, and I have to forgive myself for that. And aligning myself with the decision making that isn't going to make it hard for me to love and forgive myself. And that's what I'm practicing in the last few years of my life, is making decisions where I no longer have to wonder. Like, I'm just living more pure and in my truth and in my nature and in my truth, what I want for me. And life is starting to align itself in a very, very major way. It's almost like manifestation is catching up to me. And I'm in a flow, man. Like I'm in a flow, and I know I'm reaping the benefit of my discipline of being just pure. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be me. That's it, man. I'm just trying to get better at being me and being healthier, because I didn't feel good when I had to lie. I didn't feel good when I was cheating, when I was stealing, when I was doing wrong. I don't feel good. If you feel good, fine, do it. But I didn't feel well. So I had to figure out my system. Okay, the life I'm living isn't in alignment with me feeling good about myself. So love that part of yourself that destroyed you. Love that part of yourself that didn't speak up when your mother or father or whoever said something to you and it really hurt you and you never said anything. Then you just forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the things that you did that hurt other people. Forgive yourself for what you did to hurt yourself. Forgive yourself, and then align yourself with the decision making that's going to make you love yourself. That's it, man. That's it. Because that's so important, is loving yourself and doing things that are going to make you love yourself, because we all have the choice. And I choose life, and I choose love, and I choose peace. And I've been in a good space, man. So I'm glad to be here, man, for real.
Awesome, brother. Thank you. Amazing.
I do hear.
Amazing share. And so I want to give you guys kind of a quick peek as to part of what makes what I do work. And so, like, one of the things that makes it hard for people when I ask questions is that people are just typically sitting there just like witnessing, right? Like, and that's so often how we experience our dreams is we just witness. And then we don't know what the fuck we dreamed. And we just witness our visions, but we don't know what the hell we saw. We witness our meditation, et cetera, et cetera. What I am always doing, because I learned this from meditation, because I learned this from mindfulness, because I learned this from astral travel, what I am always doing is I'm paying attention to everything I'm perceiving, waiting for some like an opportunity to comment on it. I listen to everybody like a child, waiting for like what I can add to help them see the truth of their own experience. You understand? So I could kick to anybody else in here and go, what can you say about what Zori said? And y'all might be like, well, I don't know. It was awesome. Thank you, Zori. Like, I don't know. But as he was talking the whole time, I'm listening to him and I'm bookmarking things that I want to reflect on that he said. Okay. And once I have those bookmarks, I know I want to hit this, I want to hit that, I want to hit that. And if you guys can begin to experience us, you know, your community with that depth of concern, you will always have something to offer. You will always have something to ask, a question or something to reflect. And then what happens is that comes into your visions, that comes into your meditation, that comes into your own sensations. And you start holding space for yourself in that same way, like a child, like you're really paying attention and you're waiting for when can I contribute to this experience, because this is an awesome experience. And from everything I've experienced, whenever I give my full attention to someone, it's always an awesome experience. You know what I'm saying? You always feel this beauty or this importance that was happening. And so I have a couple of things to share about what he said as he goes away, which has it. There you are, which has its own irony. Number one, thank you for sharing the meta nature of what you're seeing, and I knew that would be an effect of this, that you guys would develop relationships with your guides like I have, and that once you develop those relationships with the guides, you can then build a conscious council, you know, and remember the difference between your guides and your council is your council is chosen. Your guides are, you know, they choose you, or they're you know, relegated to you. I don't know, but you don't choose your guides. You choose your own council. And the same way that hit you, Zori, when I mentioned my counsel, I was working with a spiritual teacher many years ago, and she started talking to me about her counsel like it was a real group, and I was like, shit, I want to counsel. Like, I was like, how do you know? And I was familiar with this concept of the mastermind group from Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon talks about what he calls a mastermind group. And for him, it's just completely imaginary, but the effect that it has on people is very real and tangible. And the spirit council is the same thing as that mastermind group. It's a group of energies that you consciously pick for guidance, but you have to come to them, you know. And I love that you mention, you know, yeah, you got a condo. His safe space is his condo, his sacred space. Mine was more like a laboratory, but it looked like a Bond villain's shit, like up on top of a mountain with this huge like curved window and a drop down space with a ping pong table, and you know, like all these different, you know, things, and the way you describe it is perfect. It is exactly like virtual reality, and the way I talk to Heather about it a lot is like the holodeck on Star Trek, you know, and the holodeck is a very, very powerful simulation tool, but you got to know what you're using it for. You got to like have something to simulate. You got to know you want to train in this or that. You got to know you want to walk in the woods. You got to know what it is you want to experience, you know, and I utilize this. I forget what Silva Mind Controlled called it. They taught us how to make them too. I think they called it like your laboratory or something. Um, but what happened for me was I taught an ex of mine how to create her sacred space and build whatever she wanted in her ideal creative environment. And she had a fucking Iron Man hologram machine that would like move all around her and shit. And I was like, damn. I was like, I want one of those. So I installed a hologram machine. And since I did that, I've never needed anything else in my sacred space because the hologram machine lets me simulate anything that I want. You know what I'm saying? It's all imagination, okay? It's all imagination. The question is, how do we access it? How do we give it a clear icon? How do we specify our intention? How do we find a ritual to focus ourselves enough to actually simulate this experience that we want, you know? And so I can feel that you're accessing all of those, Zori. So thank you a lot for that. That was awesome. Does anybody else have anything they wanted to share for his share? Good. Did you find your post, Heather?
Yeah, just like one of the texts.
Yeah. So just for some context, Heather's been working with me for a couple of months, and as a part of the self love activation program, I ask everybody to give me feedback, and almost no one does. The people that do give me feedback get the best results. You know, no holds barred. She's written more feedback than anyone I've ever worked with. And it's amazing because it's allowed me to help her at very, very fine levels. And I wanted her to share one of them because this is what, when I talk about you guys journaling about your meditations, journaling about your conversations with guides and higher selves, this is what I'm talking about. Whenever you're ready, Heather.
All right. And then I guess I want to mention that my sacred space has been lately like a crystal place with like a tree growing through it. Although it's changed a little bit, which I don't know if that's anyway, but that's what it's been lately. Okay, so let's see. When I got to the sacred space, I realized I needed to choose to enter the light stream. So I put my hand on the light tree and my hand began to sink into it, and I got entirely absorbed in the light. I got very hot at that point and a bit fidgety, had to remove a blanket I had on my legs. As I stayed in the light, though, I realized that I was the tree, and for some reason decided to make the tree dance. I tried both letting my many limbs flow in the wind and intentionally positioning them, fluidly moving them into various organized geometrical shapes and specific angles. Didn't know what to do next, though, but I felt like focusing up the tree instead of down this time. And I noticed this time there were red, round fruits in the tree. I couldn't taste a flavor, but could tell the fruit was very heavy and very juicy, like I felt juice dripping down my chin. And there was a peach-like seed in the center that I pushed inside my head and planted in my third eye, from which a branch of light began to grow. But this tree was bright lines, almost like electric light, and these branches were even more structured. Didn't look traditionally crown-like, but with this branching crown of light coming out of my head, I did wonder if I have some resistance to believing, accepting that I am divine. Not sure why. And at this point, I came back out. I was too sleepy to continue, but I think I kind of came into this one. This was earlier this week, kind of having a question about why am I having resistance to merging with the higher self, and why, and yeah, the struggling with like what spirituality and divinity and that kind of thing. So this tonight about the intelligent infinity. I mean, we'll see. And we'll see what happens tonight.
Awesome. Thank you. And the depth of what she can recall from her journeys is always amazing. And the last time I was talking to her, she mentioned the juice running down her chin. And that's like, I always talk about the importance of cultivating a visceral experience for yourself, really feeling the water, really feeling the air, really touching the leaves, really engaging yourself. And what she's doing is a level beyond what I do myself. So I was like taking notes from her. I was like, well, shit, I don't think I've ever eaten anything in one of my visions. That's a great idea. And to allow yourself to experience it deep enough to have juice on your face and stuff, that's really important. That's really powerful. And I want everybody to understand that you can dig deeper and deeper into your own visions in this way. And what happens is you make them more and more real, more and more tangible for yourself. That's awesome, Heather. Thank you. Anybody have thoughts or questions for her?
Oh, it's just amazing.
Amazing. I love it.
I'm hoping to get to that point. It's like everything's still, you know, like, and especially when the intelligent infinity, everything's been dark and no sensation. And so it's just like quiet, but even inside I'm quiet. So like, there's no voices, there's no nothing. It's just silence. And I sat that way for a long time. So I didn't really write much when I came out, because each time I didn't have anything to say, because it was like nothing happened.
I love your willingness to go there, and that's a very deep, what you're dipping into is called non-dual awareness. It's a state without identity, and there is not story there. There is not desire there. There is not my mama there. There is not, like, it's everything, and that's what you're beginning to experience, and that's super fucking advanced. And you'd never meditated, before 4 weeks ago. So that's amazing. And I love that you've allowed yourself to sit in it. But we can dial it back, and you'll have plenty of more sensations and whatever. And I'll share with you what happened when I connected like last week. Zora, yeah.
This is a question for Bridget. When you experience, because when what Satek was saying, that's exactly what I thought of. Like, that sounds like she's experiencing source.
Mhm.
Like, just no thing but all things, no form but all forms. That's a really good feeling. To dive into that, man. That's such a good feeling. But is there an intention when you go into that kind of state? Is there an intention? Like, do you come with an intention?
And those 3 times, no. Each time I was just concentrating on the intelligent infinity. I just kept repeating
Right.
it over and over again.
That
And so-
was the intention.
That was the intention. Yeah.
That was the intention. And what happened, and I can feel this, is that she connected with intelligent infinity. And because it wasn't bringing questions to it, it didn't have anything to say.
Right.
That's beautiful. And that's a high level of meditative practice. Totally.
So I should try bringing a question, and it's besides the just saying the mantra.
Eventually, but there's a lot of things you're going to try, honey, and we got to teach you these things in steps, right? So this was one step. You're working with your guides was one step. Connecting to higher self is one step. Connecting to intelligent infinity is one step. They're all different levels of you-ness. They're all you. It's just learning to access which level in which state, like which state, your archetypes, you know what I mean? All of your archetypes are you as well. Hold on, Kristen's mic's on. So that's perfect. And I love that you followed through with it. That's awesome. And you'll know when it's time to begin to tap in to intelligent infinity for like manifestation and such. You won't get a lot of words from it, and you won't, just like your higher self, you're not going to see a picture of it, so it's not in that kind of thing. It's like getting in the ocean, and you just become a piece of the ocean, and you move along with the ocean. That's very much what this is like. Hello, Pinky. Did you want to say hello and share something, or are you just watching you a fly on the wall tonight? If you don't respond, I'll assume you're a fly on the wall tonight. And Kristen, are you still there? All right, she was talking to somebody, so they'll both come in if they need to. All right, thank you all for sharing. If you do have anything that you would like to read tonight that you haven't done so far, go ahead and find that. We'll make a little room for that later. And tonight, we're gonna go deep. This is an advanced program, y'all, but this is an advanced session in an advanced program. So be gentle. Let yourself access it wherever you need to. We're gonna open tonight with a quick reading from The Vortex. If y'all know the Law of Attraction, Abraham Hicks, this is, I believe, her second book. Everything that I've felt called to share in this group so far has come from the Council. Abraham is actually not on the Council of One, but Seth is, and Seth taught Abraham, so Seth is a part of everything she's doing. So I include I include Abraham as a part of Seth, and Seth is on the Council. I wanted to read this one tonight because the Vortex is very important. And the Vortex is what you all have been learning. Your focus ritual, Vortex. Your visualizations, Vortex. Your intentions, Vortex. The Vortex is where your attention goes and how strong or how weak it is. The subtitle is where the law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. Where the law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. It's the Vortex. You guys have been creating these for yourself. And I want to dig in. We're just going to read a couple of pages from the very first chapter because I want you to, I don't want y'all to engage with this as a thought. I want you to engage with this as realizing you're already doing this. You've already cultivated this in your life. And now we're going to explore the power, the potential that it really holds. Okay? So like always, feel free to close your eyes to go deep, or you can keep them open if you want to take notes or whatever. We're just going to read a couple of pages of this, and then we're going to get into the concept guide. All right, chapter 1, learning to attract joyous co-creators. And this is how I think of my guides and my counsel, y'all, as joyous co-creators. Your life is supposed to feel good to you. Before your birth, you knew that the primary component of your physical experience that would offer the greatest value for your personal and collective expansion and joy would be the component of the relationships that you would experience with each other. It was your plan to relish the diversity of your relationships and to choose from them the details that would make up your creations. And here you are. Before your birth, as you were making the decision to focus yourself into this leading edge, time-space reality, it was your powerful intention to enjoy every moment of the process. You understood then, from your non-physical perspective, that you are a creator and that you were coming into an environment with enormous potential for joyful, satisfying experiences in creation. You understood that you are a creator and that the Earth experience would be the perfect platform from which you would launch numerous satisfying creations. And here you are. Before your birth into your physical body, you knew that once you were here, you would be surrounded by others, and that your relationships with those others would be the primary source of contrast you would live. You understood also that these contrasting relationships would provide the very basis of your personal expansion, as well as the very basis of your enormous contribution to eternal expansion. And you eagerly welcomed your interaction with all of them. And here you are. There was nothing in your plan about being here that included struggle or hardship. You did not believe that you were coming into physical form to right past wrongs, or to fix a broken world, or even to evolve, in the sense that you were currently lacking in something. Instead, you knew this physical experience would be an environment that would provide a balance of contrast from which you would personally make increasingly improved choices that would add to your own expansion as well as to the collective expansion of all that is. That's what Seth calls God, by the way, all that is. You knew that this world of contrast would induce in you the expansion that literally puts the eternalness into an eternity. And your appreciation for the contrasting environment on planet Earth was enormous, for you understood that contrast is the basis of expansion, and that the expansion would be joyous. And here you are. Before your birth into your physical body, you knew the value of variety and of diversity, for you understood that every new preference, desire, or idea would be born from that contrast. And you knew that this contrast not only provided the literal basis for expansion, but also the basis for your joyful experience. And most of all, you knew that your joyful experience would be the ultimate reason for every part of every part of every part of all of this beingness. You knew that it all exists for the joyous moments that would constantly explode into your awareness along the way. And here you are. Before your birth, you understood contrast to be the variety from which you would make your choices. You knew that your surrounding environment would be like a dining buffet spread out before you, from which you would choose, and that nothing about that environment was permanent, because your constant new choices would cause it to continually change. And here you are. Before your birth, you understood that all choices are made by giving attention to something. You knew that you were about to focus your consciousness into a physical body and into a physical time-space reality, and that you would make your selections from the contrasting buffet of choices that would surround you by your attention, focus, or thought. And here you are. Before your birth, you understood that the Earth environment, like all environments, physical and non-physical, is a vibrationally based environment, which is managed by the law of attraction. That which is like unto itself is drawn. And you knew that your attention to any subject was your invitation for your personal participation with it. And here you are. Before your birth, in considering your physical experience on planet Earth, you did not request to be born into an environment of sameness or agreement, where all of the variety had already been considered and all of the decisions about how life should be lived have been made. For you were a powerful creator who was coming forth for the purpose of making your own decisions and of creating your own joyful experience. You knew that diversity would be your best friend, and that conformity on every level would be the opposite. You literally dived in eagerness to find your bearings and then begin to explore from your own personal, important, and powerful viewpoint your contrasting surroundings, from which you would carve out your creations. And here you are. Many people express concern and frustration, and at times anger and resentment, that they did not retain conscious awareness of these pre-birth decisions. But we submit that you arrived in your physical body with something even more important intact. You were born with a personal guidance system to help you know every step or thought along the way, when you are diverging from your pre-birth understanding of life, and when you are on track. It is our desire that you become consciously aware of your own guidance system, so that you can explore this new frontier of creation in alignment with the stability of your non-physical knowledge. It is our desire to help you consciously reconnect with who you really are and to help you replace myriad false premises which you have erroneously picked up along your physical trail with universal law-based premises of life. It is our desire to help you solve the mystery of seemingly impossible relationships, to sort out the details of sharing your planet with billions of others, to rediscover the beauty of differences, and most of all, to reestablish the most important relationship of all, your relationship with the eternal, non-physical source that is really you. And here we are. All right. Eyes closed. Pay attention to how you feel in your body. Notice what you believe you heard and how it affected you. And I want someone to share anything that feels relevant to you, a thought, a question, anything. Make sure and turn your mic on if your mic's off. Eyes closed, what can you share about what you felt, what you saw, what you witnessed?
I'm humming again.
Say that again.
But I'm humming again,
Beautiful.
buzzing, and my ear, well, today all day, this ear has been buzzing.
Thank
Like a electrical thing going off. And I searched the house for it. And it seems coming from inside my head.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
What really hit me hard was the word contrast. Showing all the things that you don't want in your life. The contrast. How deeply that hurts me to the depth that it goes. And I also see the importance of that contrast because that shows you what you do want. It has to take you through the pain and the suffering in order for you to fucking say what it is that you truly want to call into your life. And what joy can really feel like on the other side. Because I could see how easy it is to want to shut off again, to go into the darkness by yourself and go back into that hermit state, and to find the courage to know how deeply hurt you are by the contrast and how it's a pattern. You're used to it by now, but you're also getting sick of the contrast. To stay on the course of healing, to not want to go back to the old ways because it's familiar, because it's easy and you know how to navigate that. That hit so deep for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, dear. And I knew I could feel that it was hitting you. And I really appreciate your vulnerability. And if there's anything more that you need to share about that pain, we would love to hold space for you. Thank you so much. Anybody else? So I will share. I just had an important experience the other day with Heather. I was explaining to her the importance of the law of attraction and what that teaches. And I was explaining to her the importance of the vortex, which is the next book. And I realized she needed to read both of them. And so I went to revisit the vortex. And as I was reading it, I could feel that it's describing everything y'all have already been doing, everything y'all have already been witnessing inside of yourselves. And the reason you have been able to do this is because of your own vortex, because of the power of your own intention, because of the discipline of being able to hold your intention for more than a couple of seconds. These are the reasons that have allowed what you've experienced so far. And I'm very proud of all of you, and you are all experiencing this incredibly trippy process at whatever level you can experience it. And I feel all of you letting yourselves experience it at that level. And that's very rare in any group of learning. There's always stragglers, and they always poo-poo themselves, and they don't last long. They quit because they feel bad. Everyone in this group is letting themselves be exactly where they're at. And that is a type of compassion and power that y'all can't understand yet, but I can see it from the outside, and it's incredibly powerful, and it's incredibly inspiring, especially to others as we begin to invite others to join us in this group, because I knew this group wouldn't stay this small, but I knew we needed to start small to really establish the dynamic, to really establish how this is going to work. And so I really appreciate everybody trusting me, trusting the council to begin to open these multi-dimensional portals within yourselves. And I'm going to keep dipping in to these books that have led me to all of these truths that I'm now able to offer to you all. And I want you to understand, just like Zori was seeing this meta, this like you're learning to build your own counsel as well. And your counsel is going to lead you. Your guides will lead you. Your higher self will lead you on your path in life to those that need your help, because I can't reach everybody. So you guys are learning to activate the divine light within in order to activate the divine light in others. That's what the family of light does. And thank you all for playing along at such a wonderfully authentic level. Any thoughts, any questions on the book, or Kristen's share, or my share? Bueller? Everybody good? I knew we would miss Natalie and Marvelous. I knew we would miss them. All right, so we're going to get into the concept guide tonight to talk about not only intelligent infinity, but also intelligent energy. And because we're going to be dealing with intelligent energy, I wanted to give everyone a simple little experience with Qigong. I want to give everybody a way to activate a direct relationship with your energy, because you will hear and understand what intelligent energy is differently, having a feeling, sensory experience of it. All right, so everybody sit up straight. We're just going to learn a few simple exercises real quick, and the invitation is to use this as part of your induction. You can use Qigong as part of your induction for meditation. So as you're doing light language, as you're doing your visualizations, you can do Qigong energy work type stuff, or you can actually use it during as well. And we will talk about how you can use it during in the future. But for right now, just think of this as an induction process to add to your practice. All right, so we're going to start by rubbing our hands together to create heat and really make heat. And then make more heat, faster, harder. And then stop and notice what happens to the heat. Notice how you can feel it dissipate. Some people feel it dissipate out, away from the palms into space. Other people feel it dissipate into their body, okay? However you felt it, whether you felt it moving out or whether you felt it moving in, we're going to do it one more time, and I want you to imagine feeling it the opposite direction. So if you felt out last time, imagine it moving in this time, vice versa. Ready? Make heat again. And stop. Imagine it moving the other direction. Notice that you can feel it. The reason is because it moves in both directions. Some of the heat moves out, some of the heat moves in. This is a very important thing to understand about energy, is that energy is always coming and going like the breath. It's always entering and always exiting. Now you're going to hold your hands about 12 inches apart out in front of your chest. Your arms are going to be soft and relaxed. Let them float like seaweed in the ocean. Any tension in your body blocks the flow of energy as well as sensation. And we're just going to let the hands float towards each other as slow as you can move them. Let the hands float towards each other. Very, very slowly. And notice the feeling of that space as you move through it. How do you know your hands are moving? Because you can feel them. Just pay attention to the feeling of your hands moving through space. Western medicine calls this feeling proprioception. Eastern traditions call it qi. Let your hands slowly get closer and closer. And then you're going to see how close you can get your hands together without actually touching. Let them come so close that you're almost about to clap, but don't let them touch. And then very slowly, very gently, I want you to do a circle with both palms like you're washing your hands. Very slowly. The slower you move, the more you'll feel it. Notice the awareness that one hand has of the other. Some people feel that awareness as a pressure. Some people feel it as a tingle. Some people feel it as cool. Some people feel it as heat. Doesn't matter what you feel energy as. If you focus on it, it'll get stronger. And then you have to remember, the softer your body is, the more you'll feel. And the slower you move, the more you'll feel. Okay, beautiful. Now we're going to pulse. You're going to push in just a tiny bit and release. Push a tiny bit and release. And just notice where the strongest connection is. Where does that connection get the strongest? This is called pulsing. That pulse will show you where that connection is the strongest. Beautiful. Now we're going to breathe through the space. With your inhale, let your hands expand outwards very slowly, very gently. And with your exhale, let your hands contract inwards, very slowly, very gently. This should be a very small movement. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, contracting. Expand. contract. Okay, beautiful. What we've done is we've opened our Lagong points. We have chakras in the centers of the hands, right? Now we're going to use those chakras, those magnets that we've opened, to work with the rest of our body. Let your hands float down by your waist, palms facing up, fingers pointing towards each other like this. And we're going to inhale, floating up effortlessly like helium balloons. Inhale, floating up. And then you're going to visualize splashing your face with electric chi water. Palms turned down. Exhale, let everything in your body drain down into the earth. Beautiful. Relax even more. Inhale, floating up effortlessly. Exhale, everything in the body draining. Now, as you do this movement, let yourself relax a little bit more each time. And imagine if your body was made of water, how would it react to this movement? Notice how the water would get pulled and moved. Feel that movement. Feel the current that you're generating. Notice that this current has a specific feeling, it has a specific weight, it has a specific texture, has a specific place in your body. Beautiful. Let both hands float over your heart center, one palm over the other, not touching. And then we're going to let both hands tumble forward very slowly, very gently. And you're going to imagine that you're winding taffy between your hands. The slower you move, the softer you are, the thicker that taffy becomes. Every single particle has an electromagnetic field, and every electromagnetic field extends outward to infinity, mathematically speaking. So every field is aware of every other field. When we work with Qigong, when we work with our life force energy, what we're learning to do is feel the connections between every particle, every atom, every molecule. They're all connected, just like the entire ocean is connected. Beautiful. Shake it out. And now we're going to go around. So you got to talk this time. We're going to go around. Bridget, you first. Tell us something you felt and experienced while doing that. You got to unmute. Slower, Zoe.
I started getting dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was moving and pushing. It's like I could feel it against my heart, like it was like a heavy weight was being tumbled in front of my chest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and the more I did it, the more lightheaded. I was like waiting for you to tell us to cut off because I was gonna have to stop.
Awesome. Awesome. And was it pleasurable?
Yeah, it
It
was very.
it will be intense, but the more you get used to it, the more pleasurable that intensity will become. And don't go so far that you make yourself dizzy or pass out or anything. Awesome. Thank you. Heather, tell us anything you felt.
I definitely could feel between the hands, and then it feels kind of magnetic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't tried that before, so that was very relaxing to come down. The pulsing that felt really good. I don't think I'd tried it like that before. That was interesting. That felt good. What else? Oh, the heart. Yeah, that felt like it was something heavy, but also kind of something being pulled out. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure.
It's a very good way to clear your heart. It helps open the armor that we keep on our heart totally. And you've been doing that for a few weeks as a part of your meditative practice. Have you noticed any difference, any way that it's affected your practice?
I don't always do that winding one. There was one time it almost made me cry. I'm not sure why, but so it was different this time. But I don't, but it definitely has that sort of something feeling in there. So I don't, so I don't know if it's
I
changed.
just I just meant qigong in general.
Yeah.
Have you noticed an effect that it's had on your practice?
Yeah. Well, it definitely has been a good induction to my practices. It kind of gets me in a kind of a good flow at first.
Gets you out of your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, and start actually feeling more out of the mind.
And once you get that feeling primed, then it wants to roll. It has its own inertia. Beautiful. Thank you. Zori, tell us what you felt.
I had a very intense feeling today. Um, sheesh. I just whew, it's very intense today. When I close my eyes, I can see it
Mm.
that I could do. I was doing it in the shower the other day, and I felt like I could see it, and I had my eyes open, but I just felt like I could see it, and so I just kept telling myself, "Nah, I can see it." I just been telling myself that a lot more since we've been doing this group. Like I can see, even if it's just a little bit. So I can see it, but it's like very magnetic, like white light, magnetic. It's kind of like, has anybody ever like drove past a fire and like before you were getting there, it was like a mirage of like energy that like you can like see the heat, like the heat wave.
Yep.
Like if you've ever seen a heat wave, that's how I describe this. Like it's like an invisible energy that you can see though. And like if you focus in enough. And I've learned dealing with Sautek. I've learned dealing with Sautek that I can feel my energy whenever I want. I'm much more aware of my energy. And that's becoming it's just becoming a real practice for me, just being aware of my energy. No matter what I'm doing, trying to be aware of my energy. But this time, like I'm really starting to like see the energy more. The energy I always feel, I can feel it now. I'm just vibrating. I'm just like buzzing like a bee, just like a battery that's just getting charged. Um, I just feel it like I had to get out of my chair and lay down.
Mm.
Like really intense today. Like I just was like floating in and out of consciousness. Like wow, like am I tired? Like I'm like almost couldn't even control it. So I had to like get out of my seat and like get on the ground. It was really it's really intense today. I've been I've been seeing this like shell since you read that book. I've been seeing this shell with like just layers on layers on layers and layers. Like I just kept seeing a shell, like just unraveling layers like an onion. Like it's just never you could never stop peeling back the layers of consciousness, and just I just keep seeing that shell just get peeled and peeled, and more, and it's more of, you know, saying my consciousness being unlocked. And I feel like I'm going through a major shift this week, and this just in these last couple of days, like I think Friday was really hard for me. Like I just kind of got overwhelmed with all the things that I'm actually leading or responsible for, like just how much, just as a father, as a husband,
Mm-hmm.
and just everything, all the demand that's being placed on me. But knowing that I've asked for this, but it was just like I just kind of was feeling a little overwhelmed, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop on Saturday. I'm just gonna get some rest, and I had the long rest, and I just woke up feeling like extra, like whoa, like I can conquer this. I can do this. I can handle this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing it. I just, you know, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I can feel that pressure. I just feel it. It's just so magnetic. It's just hard to describe in real time, because it's just something that I more so feel and see, and just something that I understand. So it's just a very intense feeling.
Beautiful. Thank you. And many people do feel it as a pressure, y'all, and most people think of pressure as a negative thing. But I want you to understand that when you build energy, it's gonna feel pressure. You're gonna build. It's like to work out. You're gonna feel pressure. You have to create resistance within your body to build energy. And if we are afraid of pressure, we'll never build much energy. You understand? So we have to learn how to hold that pressure and trust our strength in order to build energy. And as we build more energy, we are capable of manifesting higher states of being and better things for ourselves as well. Thank you for that, brother. Kristen, can you share with us anything you felt physically or emotionally?
Sure. All the above. So I rub my hands a lot for Kundalini anyway, so that practice is very natural for me, and to feel the chi between my hands before I start. I probably got the most emotional when I was working with my heart. And again, I've also done this with Kundalini, where I start bringing the energy out and we're transmuting as well. I was feeling layers of rejection that were coming through, and I was peeling that off from me.
Mm.
Um, um, there was something else. I'm trying to remember what else was coming through. It was emotional. So because I started getting emotional, I was losing the connection with the energy, but I have done this practice before with the chi, so it's not something that's foreign to me. I have a relationship with that. But I also work with my energy when I'm doing Kundalini, and like when I'm starting to get to those altered states of consciousness through the breath, where I'll start bringing it up and down. So I always appreciate doing it. How do I say this? Without any sort of modifications, just being very still in the present moment and just breathing as if we normally would.
Beautiful. Thank you. Just to check, Pinky, you're welcome to share something if you want to. Just let us know. All right. Thank you all for that. You can utilize this, add this into your induction at any level you desire. It's not necessary, but if you begin to work with your energy tangibly, it will affect your process the same way learning to focus your mind affects your process, the same way learning to see visions through your third eye affects your process. working with your energy at this level will affect your process. So just be aware of that tool and utilize it as much as you feel the desire to. Any questions before we get into the concept guide? Yes, ma'am.
It's not actually a question, it's more of a comment. So when I start my channeling process, I'm always rubbing my hands first to get that energy going. That's what helped me get deeper into my practice, and then I tone. So for those who don't, you may want to try it because it really does bring in the energy in a whole new way.
Totally. Thank you. It gets your energy flowing. For real, for real. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're jumping into the concept guide from the Raw Contact series, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna dig into this concept of intelligent energy and intelligent infinity. They're two totally different things, but very closely related. Again, you guys can close your eyes on this, or you can keep them open and take notes. And
Tech,
yes,
may I use the restroom before we get into this?
yes. Thank you for the question. Go. Anybody else needs to go to the restroom real quick, get some more water. Take a 2-minute quick one here. Woo! This one's gonna be hot. This one's gonna be hot, y'all. I'm already sweating just from the qigong. Intelligent infinity always makes me hot, and just holding the Law of One book will make me hot also.
Yo, that qigong, I was like struggling. Like I had to put my head down a couple of times. Like you gonna have us doing this shit? Cause man, I was like, it was just pressure bust pipes sometimes, and my pipes was just going through it.
Yeah.
I had to just keep, because I was like, the more I was breathing, the more I was like, I was going out, and I was like, yo, but I know I had to focus on my breathing, like just because my body was like going through different states, like of just like almost panic,
Mm-hmm.
like your body you just pressing. That was good. That one was good.
So as you begin to work with energy, y'all, I want you to think about it like bandwidth. And when you feel pressure, when you feel intensity, what's happening is you're reaching the edge of your bandwidth. You're moving an amount of energy through your body that's more than your body is used to. And so that's what creates discomfort. And you have to understand that just like your muscles working out, the more you practice sending energy through, the greater you increase your bandwidth. So you literally allow yourself to carry more energy, more channels, more dimensions, etc. But we have to increase that gradually. Otherwise, the mind will, lose its shit or whatever. So we have to do that gradually. Okay. As always, I will tell you the difference between when Ra is speaking and when the writers of the book are speaking. It's not always evident. But here we're starting with intelligent energy, and we are opening up with Ra. I'm going to wait for Zori to get ready. Intelligent energy. There is one energy. It may be understood as love light or light love or intelligent energy. This energy is the energy of the Logos, and thus it is the energy which heals, builds, removes, destroys, and transforms all other selves as well as the self. There is unity. This unity is all there is. This unity has a potential and a kinetic. The potential is intelligent infinity. Tapping this potential will yield work. This work has been called by us intelligent energy. Now, this is the writers of the book. Intelligent energy is not only an energy within the universe, but it is the universe. Every type of manifestation, every movement, every event, every entity, every energy is some form or distortion of intelligent energy, also called prana. It consists of love and light. It is the upward spiraling line of light that comes into and forms the primeval cosmological darkness into a focus of self-awareness and continues therefrom to organize and drive evolution upward, including through the process we know as physical evolution. The Logos uses intelligent energy to build the stage of life itself, set the parameters and potentials of the play, and create the infinite characters who will enact the drama of the process of the Creator knowing itself through the story of separation and return. It is not yet final, however. Intelligent energy is not an object, but an activity that operates always against the backdrop of unity, arising out of or emanating from the potential intelligent infinity. Against the backdrop of unity, intelligent energy is the kinetic to the intelligent infinity's potential. It is, one might say, intelligent infinity, or the Creator, translated into manifestation, or the creation, in a way in which yields work. The reach of free will is such that we can allow, block, or distort intelligent energy, and we can be in or out of harmony with intelligent energy. I'm going to say that one again. The reach of free will is such that we can allow, block, or distort intelligent energy, and we can be in or out of harmony with it. The more deeply we activate, balance, clear, and eventually crystallize our energy centers, the more we discover love and light in the moment, the greater the quantity and quality of intelligent energy we accept. This part's called Being a Channel for Intelligent Energy. Personal versus divine will. Ra discusses the use of intelligent energy as something which essentially directs itself. That is, the human becomes a vessel for an intelligence greater than the human's own incarnate intelligence. Much like vocal channeling, the self is simply an instrument for a working which is greater and more intelligent than its personal will. This is Ra. The precision with which each energy center matches the original thought lies not in the systematic placement of each energy nexus, but rather in the fluid and plastic placement of the balanced blending of these energy centers in such a way that intelligent energy is able to channel itself with minimal distortion. The healer does not heal. The crystallized healer is a channel for intelligent energy, which offers an opportunity to an entity that it might heal itself. In no case is there an other description of healing. It is not by example that the healer does the working. The working exists in and of itself. The healer is only the catalyst. Much as this instrument has the catalyst necessary to provide the channel for our words, yet by example or exercise of any kind can take no thought for this working. The healing working is congruent in that it is a form of channeling some distortion of the intelligent infinity. Questioner: is this desire and will that operates through the time-space section a function only of the entity who is healed, or is it also the function of the healer, the crystallized healer? Ra says, may we take this opportunity to say that this is the activity of the Creator. To specifically answer your query, the crystallized healer has no will. It offers an opportunity without attachment to the outcome, for it is aware that all is one and that the Creator is knowing itself. So this is a simple look at intelligent energy. Now we're going to, that's once again, that's the active, yin and the yang. If the yin is the potential, it's the waveform. Yang is the action, it's the particle. Now we're going to talk about intelligent infinity. This is Ra speaking. This concept that the questioner uses to describe intelligent infinity is incorrect, as in any concept of the one intelligent infinity. The one undifferentiated intelligent infinity, unpolarized, full and whole, is the macrocosm of the mystery-clad being. We are messengers of the law of one. Unity at this approximation of understanding cannot be specified by any physics, but only be activated or potentiated intelligent infinity due to the catalyst of free will. This may be difficult to accept. However, the understandings we have to share begin and end in mystery. The law of one, though beyond the limitations of name, may be approximated by stating that all things are one, that there is no polarity, no right or wrong, no disharmony, but only identity. All is one, and that one is love, light, light, love, the infinite creator. This is the writers of the book. Intelligent infinity in its first, purest, and original sense does not yield to words, physics, conceptualization, or any measure of understanding. It begins and ends in mystery. It is mystery, or as Ra says, it is the macrocosm of the mystery-clad being. The highest of non-dual mystical teachings are pointing to, but not defining, infinity at this level, where subject and object collapse, where there is no two-ness, no manyness, no finity, no boundary, no other. In terrestrial traditions, it is often pointed to in negative terms, such as void, or emptiness, or nothingness, because it seems to negate, but paradoxically include, everything that exists, everything that can be named and identified. It is beingness itself. It is all that there is. It is where the part completely contains and is one with the whole. Back to Ra. Ra says, it shall be understood that any portion, no matter how small, of any density or illusory pattern, contains, as in a holographic picture, the one creator, which is infinity. Thus all begins and ends in mystery. In the simplest iota of this complex exists in its entirety the one infinite creator. And then last, we have this description of the two sides of intelligent infinity. But there is a point when, out of intelligent infinity, creation begins. Though still rather incomprehensible to the third density mind, it is at that point that we can at least start talking about it. That point happens when intelligent infinity takes on a second meaning, due to the first distortion, free will. Intelligent infinity becomes potential in relation to the kinetic of intelligent energy. We are going to toggle between these two sides of intelligent infinity for a moment, the absolute and the relative, the one and the many. The side that is the ultimate mystery and the side that is potential in relationship to the kinetic of intelligent energy. Ra delineates the two sides in the following. There is no difference, potential or kinetic, in unity. The basic rhythms of intelligent infinity are totally without distortion of any kind. The rhythms are clothed in mystery, for they are being itself. From this undistorted unity, however, appears a potential in relation to intelligent energy. In this way, you may observe the term to be somewhat two-sided. One use of the term, that being the undistorted unity, being without any kinetic or potential side. The other application of this term, which we use undifferentiatedly for lack of other term, in the sense of the vast potential tapped into by foci or focuses of intelligent energy. This creator is to be understood both in macrocosm and microcosm, to have, as we have said, two natures, the unpotentiated infinity, which is intelligent. This is all that there is. And two, free will has potentiated both the creator of us and all, and ourselves as co-creators with intelligent infinity, which has will. We are messengers of the law of one. All right, keep your eyes closed. And I want you to notice what you feel. I want you to notice what you see. I want you to notice what state you're in. Now, if anyone has anything to share about this state, you're welcome to do that now. If anyone has a question about the state, you're welcome to do that now. But very likely this state is so visceral that there's nothing you can say about it that adds anything to it. It's likely this state is so visceral that no question feels particularly important, because the answer can't bring you anything you aren't experiencing right now. Intelligent infinity is the highest concept that we can possibly have. And it's the source of all that is. And we do not have an expectation that we have to go and live just there. But each and every being has a hardwired connection to this state of underlying potential, this blank slate, this blank piece of paper with which we can create anything we desire. Beautiful. All right, shake it out. Anybody, thought, question about intelligent infinity or intelligent energy?
I do. What is a crystalline healer?
Great question. So, energy is moving
Mhm.
and it evolves and it moves faster and faster. And at a certain point, it moves so fast, there's no perception of movement at all. That's crystallized, like,
Okay.
like a stone. Okay. And as consciousness gets higher and higher, it becomes crystallized, very much like Heather's crystal tree that she described. You know, it becomes like hardwired, the same way our neurons are hardwired. Eventually, spirit becomes hardwired, and at that point, they call it crystalline. And so when they say the crystallized healer, they don't mean they expect us to have no will. They mean like a fully evolved healer, like a Jesus level healer, has no will of their own because they're too busy simply serving intelligent energy through themselves as a conduit. Make sense?
Mhm.
It's like my crystals have no will of their own. They channel whatever energy they get from me, and then they send it through. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to do a new exercise tonight. It's something we've done before, but we did it all in a group. Ha. We've done it all in a group, but we're going to do it individually this time, okay? And so what we're going to do is, it's the exact same thing as when we all do one word at a time, except we're each going to do our own words for ourselves, okay? And all this is how many people have actually done automatic writing? Raise your hand for me. Okay, a couple of people. Awesome. What we're going to do right now is the equivalent of automatic writing, but it's for speaking. So we're going to do automatic speaking, okay? Now, I want you to understand that this is an exercise. You're not supposed to be channeling, fucking Seth or anything on this. It's not about making a bunch of sense. It's not about dropping wisdom, okay? This is an exercise. This is an improvisation exercise. And the idea is to speak, let yourself speak one word at a time, just like writing, just like when we go around the circle and each person says one word, but you're going to keep going. And you're going to keep going until I tell you to stop, okay? And what's going to determine when I tell you to stop is that I can feel you're really just following each word. like so if you drop into that real quick, you won't have to go very long. I'm going to do it first, so watch how this works. You're not going to think about what you're going to say. There's no topic. It's free association. One word, then another word, then another word. And keep it slow. Don't try to speak at your normal pace. Keep it slow so that you can just feel each individual word, okay? Eyes closed, I'm going to go first. I mean, you don't have to close your eyes while I'm going, but I'm going to go first. Eyes closed. It works like this. I know that all can be simple and effortless if I allow it to be. It's one word at a time. I had no idea what the fuck I was going to say. I just let one word follow the next. Okay? Zori, go for us. Close your eyes. One word at a time. Do it slowly. And I'll just do it until I tell you to stop.
Okay. Speak from the heart to find your truth. Understand that no one knows it all. Let go of thoughts and ideas of perfection. Let go. Allow yourself to be without self-judgment. I know that they are looking towards you, and it is scary to be seen, but allow yourself to focus your energy inward. Allow yourself to become invisible. Allow your focus to be placed on directing your intentions to manifest your desires.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop. So thank you, brother, and he can do that all fucking day. But I had to let him keep going, and it was important. And I want anybody that understands what I'm talking about to share really quick. I had to let him keep going because I could feel some of y'all needed to hear what he was saying. Am I wrong? Anybody? like, like I could see words being absorbed. You understand? And this is the nature of what we're talking about. And he started out with just words, and the space was there. And then soon enough, the words just start connecting and they just start leading you. That was beautiful, Zori. Thank you. Kristen, are you still there?
Yes, I am. I'm in the healing chamber.
I love it. She's in the healing closet.
Here. I'm in the
Awesome.
healing closet.
One word at a time for us.
Big closet.
I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay. Hmm. Mm. 1 second. Welcome back to this space. This space is created for you. This space is part of the transformation. To go inside is where you find the freedom, where you reconfigure yourself. It is the space of undoing. It is the space of doing. at the same time.
Stop. Beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, you ready, Heather? As ready as you'll ever be. It's just words, honey. It's not about what you're saying. It's just pay attention to the words and just make one after the other. Close your eyes. Go ahead.
The fear you feel is a lesson as well. And the awareness of it can be valuable.
Good job. I was like, I felt you'd be surprised it actually made sense. Good job. Good job. All right, Bridget. Just words. Let it be as slow as it needs to be and just string words together. Remember, it's just an exercise.
This will get easier as you practice with intention. Continue to practice as often as you can. Go at your own pace. It will come.
Stop. Love it. Everybody, give yourself a round of applause. Great work. So, real quick, kind of let's talk about that. And you don't even necessarily need to talk about yourself, but I would love to hear anything you noticed while listening to someone else do that exercise. Who's got something they can share? Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm not on mute.
Mhm.
I I usually just I usually don't space. I just usually just start talking. But I wanted to space it out this time and just allow what comes to come. And I realized that I myself didn't know the next word.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like words just always up there and they're always like you know what I'm saying? So just like very easy for me to talk. But this time like I just allowed each word like to just I just stopped, like just had that like that cadence, just kept that cadence and just allowed the words to make sense. And it was as it was unraveling, I was it just had such a I don't know, man. It was just as I was letting it unravel, I couldn't believe it was making sense
Mm-hmm.
because that's not usually how I flow with things. I usually just start talking, just start going. You know what I mean? Just letting things flow. But the pause and like I watched this one guy. Sometimes he comes up on my ads talk about how you have to learn how to pause when you speak instead of and like just pause and just to allow people to get let that information soak in
Mm-hmm.
and comfortable with those pauses. And I've also heard this notion of like in between breath, like that second in between the breath, that millisecond or whatever, like that's like the most potent of like if you could just get like just so subtle and so potent, that energy is so subtle and so potent. Like if you could just grasp that flow and just allow it to work itself out. Like sometimes you don't know you need to hear something when you're saying it. You know what I mean? Like it's just damn, I needed to hear that shit too. Where did it come from? So just allowing allowing things to happen. I know a lot of times for me, I really don't allow myself to just be because it's like all this external noise and pressure and distraction. And it's just like, no, but I know. So why am I worried about what's going on over there? Why am I anxious? Because when I'm anxious, I'm unfocused. You know what I mean? Like, but when I'm focused, man, I'm not worried about what could happen. And no, I'm just, I know I got a purpose and I'm on a mission and I gotta get it done. So just being very like Bridget said, just that intention. Like the intention is like beginning to be a very, very big piece of my life. Like just making sure I know what my intentions are and just being very intentional instead of um just accepting whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's cool at some points to just float. But like sometimes you need to be very intentional in life and just finding that balance. So I like that flow. I like the flow of the cadence of the pausing and just allowing the words to come.
Thank you for honoring that because I knew you didn't necessarily need it, but thank you for honoring that. And all of these exercises have specific parameters, y'all, and they're there for a reason. And this one isn't about making sense, but everybody ends up making sense. And
Right.
part of the reason is the same reason ChatGPT sounds like it's intelligent, is because it's literally picking the word based on the last word. What word makes sense with this? Boom. What word makes sense with this? Boom. And the most important thing that I learned from it is that none of us ever know what the fuck we're actually trying to say until we say it. Because we don't think in like complete sentences. We have feelings. We see colors. We, have flushes and pressures in our body. And then we speak to try and elucidate that thing. And giving yourself the space to just find one word at a time is the easiest way you're going to connect into this ability to channel. And with automatic writing, a lot of people think it needs to be like this, like you're just going and going. It doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be not you stopping and thinking, what's the next thing? You just keep going. And when you finish a sentence, you don't go, what should I say next? You just pick another word. And then that word will create a whole new sentence. Thank you for that, Zori. Did anybody else have anything they can share about your own process or witnessing someone else's? All right, let's do our meditation for this evening. This one's going to be a little bit different than what we've done before, and this invitation is just for this week to play with this dynamic as much as you feel comfortable, but don't feel like you have to come back there every single day the way Bridget she took the homework seriously and she just went every day straight to Intelligent Infinity. Know that that's there, but if you need to connect with your guides, if you need to connect with your higher self, if you have work to do in your sacred space, you're welcome to do that as a part of your practice as well. This is just one tool of many, you guys, one tool of many. All right, find a comfortable position, sitting up, eyes closed. Let me go ahead and mute everybody. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, perfect. Stretch anything it needs to stretch. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a mudra. which is like this, like you're holding an egg, like this. It's an old Buddhist mudra. And the reason that we're doing this is because this creates a circuit in your mind, in your body, in your nervous system. Thumbs just barely lightly touching, and then let that egg rest in your lap. Take a deep inhale, let your body expand like a balloon. With your exhale, really visualize your body relaxing and melting like butter. Inhale, expand like a balloon. Exhale, relax and melt like butter. Now begin gently following the feeling of your breath as it moves through your body. Notice the coolness of the inhale and the warmth of the exhale. Following this flow of oxygen anywhere it leads you. Feeling this life course through your veins. Now we're going to begin to activate this word as a mantra. Intelligent infinity. Each time you say it silently, notice what you feel. Intelligent infinity. Notice how it affects your breath. Intelligent infinity. Notice how it affects your energy. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Accepting every sensation, because every sensation is true, and every sensation is you. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Feel the frequency of this sound. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Trust you can handle the pressure, the brightness, the intensity, the heat. It is your birthright. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Appreciate the feeling of this frequency. Intelligent infinity. And bookmark the feeling of this state of being, this state of awareness, this state of centered balance. Intelligent infinity. Notice there is no fear in the frequency of intelligent infinity. Notice there is no pain in the state of intelligent infinity. There is no desire. There is no jealousy. There is no sadness. There is too much fullness to experience sadness. There is too much energy to experience lack. There is too much presence to simulate loneliness. Appreciate this sacred state as it feeds the ground of your being in each and every moment. Intelligent infinity. Intelligent infinity. Wiggle your fingers and toes, stretch anything that needs to stretch. Slowly let your awareness come back into your body. And slowly and gently open your eyes. I'm sweating like a mongrel. Told y'all. Goodness. All right, let's go around real quick. I want you to close your eyes and let yourself just tell us whatever you can about that experience. No right answers, no wrong answers. Just share with us. Bridget, you go first for us. You might need to unmute.
The same as before, except for now I had sensation. So peace, quiet, and it's dark. I don't see any color or anything. It's just like I'm in space without stars. And then
And what kind of sensations?
buzzing everywhere, all over from head to toe.
Nice.
Light pulling at the top, but it's
What was that?
a slight pulling at the crown, but not as strong as the time before when I mentioned it, when it was really like really strong.
Beautiful. Thank you. I feel the importance in that. It's amazing. And you can go back and play with your guides again tomorrow. Play with those colors. Thank you. Heather, eyes closed. Tell us anything you can.
I felt mostly the relaxed feeling. It kind of settled me in deeply, but then every time that was said, I did get well, not every time, but a lot of times I felt some sort of physical, something up, rising up. I don't know, something good, felt good, and then there was something in the head too at a couple points, but something.
Beautiful. Thank you. Kristen, what can you tell us? What did the frequency of intelligent infinity feel like to you?
I could feel my bandwidth expanding quite a bit. I have a lot of pressure over my right eye at the moment and going into my right ear. And as we were coming out, I didn't realize how deep in the meditation I was. And so I was like, whoa, I'm still not here.
Awesome. Thank you, dear. Yeah, I was pretty deep too. Normally I can open my eyes and peek at people while I'm doing it, and I couldn't even open my eyes this time. That was wild. You there, Zori? Tell us what intelligent infinity felt like to you.
Just an intense wavelength. Like I can see it. I can see the electromagnetic wave. I can see the pulse. I can see it from within. I felt light. I felt a presence of just peace, but I felt like it wasn't just peace. Like it was something more intense than peace. I felt creation. I felt the power to create. I
felt I feel very energetic. I feel very vibrant. I feel very radiant. I just feel the need to continue to flow in that peace, in that intensity, in that wavelength, in that pulse. Just continue to stay in that pulse. Focus on that pulse. I feel just very vibrant, man, very magnetic, just drawing in everything that I want. That's what I feel like. I'm just taking and giving to the universe, taking and giving to source. Every time I felt when I do that, when I do exercises like that, I feel like I'm giving source energy as well. Not just energy. I'm not just taking energy. I'm also way. And I feel that very much, like me giving it and receiving it. Like it's a continual reciprocation of just in and out, in and out, in and out. And such a beautiful feeling to be tapped into, man. I feel like a goddamn monk. I was just holding my hands in the pose. You know, I don't do that mudra. I do other mudras, but I don't do that mudra because, like, when we do qigong and I'm when I hold my hands really close, like it's like hurts my brain. And then when you told me to like hold my hands, like had my fingers barely touching, and I was like my Christian said, my bandwidth has grown today because I pressed past, my discomfort and got myself into a comfortable place. And each time I was uncomfortable today. So, I had to press today I had to press past comfort today energetically. And not allowing myself to get frustrated that I was getting stumped or that I was being challenged today. I just pressed forward and just allowed the challenges to and not fight it, avoid it, but press. And I pressed, and each time today I felt that energy, that intense energy. I was able to calm myself down and get into a very, very good calm state. So I'm proud of myself for just continuing to fight and or just not even fight, but submit. Mission is big today for me because things to flow. I think this weekend submission has been a big thing, just letting go and allowing things to flow and knowing that they're gonna get done and you're gonna be able to have the bandwidth to handle it. So yeah, that was good for me.
Thank you, brother. All right, everyone. Wonderful, wonderful work. Homework this week is to add Qigong into your induction, just a couple times, see if you like it. You don't have to keep doing it if it doesn't help you. If it does, keep using it because understanding your energy will help you in everything that you're going to be doing in other dimensions. Also, activating this intention. You don't need to do this every single day. I would love for you to go back and keep developing this relationship with your guides, keep developing your relationship with your dojo or your sacred space, keep developing this relationship with your higher self, and begin to pay attention to what things want to be done on which level, right? Like your sacred space is first, then your guides, then your higher self. So pay attention, like to, if you're working on, some creative project, you don't necessarily need to go to your guides to do that. You might can use your shop and just start building it. If you go to your guides, you might want to talk to them about your childhood or ask about healing, ask about shadow work. If you go to your higher self, there's very likely going to be a different level of question, a different level of reason why you're there. And for me, it's very much always just how can I be more of who I am in this moment? How can I be more true to this journey right now? Pay attention to what kinds of intentions you bring to what levels, because these levels are not just like a level and you get a belt like in karate and you move on. These are levels that are all inside of you, and you're going to keep working with them throughout time. You're going to keep working with your sacred space. You're going to keep working with your guides. You're eventually going to put together your own council. You're going to keep working with your higher self. and you're going to keep being able to tap in to intelligent infinity. And this is the reason for going there. It's not just go there and sit around being peaceful, which a lot of people would call that boring. It's about go there and tap into an infinite store of presence, of awareness, of energy. That's the invitation. And that you can utilize that. Once you tap in there, you can pull energy from there to send to other places. You can use it for healing. You can use it for manifestation. You can use it for astral travel, et cetera, et cetera. So it is a store of energy. It's not just somewhere you go to zen out and nothing really matters. But this is the prime element for me. How I know when I'm in that space is because I don't have any semblance of identity. I don't have any semblance of fear. I don't have any semblance of greed or need or lack or anything like that. It's too full of selfness. And that's the real power and beauty of it for me. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Incredible class. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you, Heather, for reading. That was super brave. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us as well, Pinky. So proud of your process. Bridget, just keep it up. And Zori, as always, thank you. Kristen, thank you. Y'all all have a wonderful week. And please keep writing. I want to hear more of what you're writing in these sessions. That will be a great way to open up your channel. And don't forget to practice either automatic writing or automatic speaking as well, because that's going to let you, it's one thing to tap into these places inside of ourselves, but we have to actually practice letting them out as well. And that can come through writing and it can come through your voice. All right. That being said, thank you all so much. I will see you guys in the same bat time, same bat channel on the live stream every day of TikTok. You guys, love you. Soul Stream in the house. Council of One channel panel, baby. Y'all have a good one. I love you.
Love you.
Namaste.
Namaste.